Skin the Hardaway Southern T, back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If this your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. Talk this good boxing, sports, MMA, parlays, predictions every single day, not just today. Jacko, what's good, brother? He said, what's good, brother? Hope everything is gravy on your side. I had a rough past year, but I'm here. I'm glad that you still here, my brother. Greatly appreciate you sliding through. Everything is okay. It could be better. You know what I mean? But we ain't gonna complain, right? We ain't gonna. Is that Nene? But we ain't gonna complain. We ain't gonna complain, man, because we, like you said, man, we are still here. You could hit that thumbs up for your boy, man, when you roll on in. We about to talk this good boxing for the week. About to talk this good boxing for the week, man. Glad to see you, man. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. All right. Glad to see you. All right. It's fight week, man. We got Andrea Holmes versus Erickson Lubin. This is going to be a pro box fight. This is going to be the IBF title eliminator as well this weekend, right? So biggest fight this weekend, I think, is Erickson Lubin, one of my favorite fighters. The winner of this fight is going, I think his name is Backroom, the guy that just beat Tim Tszyu, right? The guy that just beat Tim Tszyu, he stopped Tim Tszyu, knocked Tim Tszyu out. I think his name is Backroom. He got a funny kind of name, so I know I don't want to mess it up. I know I'm gonna probably mess that thing up, but he got a funny kind of name. I'm just calling him Backroom. I think his name is Backroom though. But this is for the IBF title eliminator. They'll be facing off against Backroom, the guy that just defeated Tim Tszyu for his title. Right, so big fight implications in this fight. I hate that they waited to give Andrea his shot versus Erickson Lubin, who they waited to give his shot as well. But of course, they make two guys like that take one another out for a title shot. Erickson Lubin beat two top 5 guys, and over his last fight, he shouldn't have to fight Andrea for a goddamn title eliminator. He actually should automatically have the shot, right? So I think it's some bull crap, going on with this fight happening, but it is a good fight, and I'm glad it's happening, right? It ain't no friends in boxing. These guys are friends. These guys are friends or were friends. I think they are friends, right? But when you get close to a fight, they start tension. The tension start, right? So they kind of, the friendship ain't as close as it once was, but these two guys do have a friendship, or they used to. Right now it's a little chalky, I think, because the fight about to happen. But it is history here with Andrea and with what's good, Jazz. It is history here with Andrea and Erickson Lubin, right? So that's going to be a great fight, man. That's a high-level fight right there, a high-level pro box fight. A lot of people over this weekend saw Monster Inoue fight. Roman Cardenas. I picked up on Roman Cardenas because of pro box, right? So pro box has been putting out some good fighters as of late, guys who's been getting title shots. Now, they haven't necessarily had one win one, right? But pro box is doing a thing, as far as promoting these guys and getting these guys either back to glory, right, or getting these guys to glory. But yeah, pro box has done a good job, at getting these guys back to glory or getting these guys to glory. So, had an interesting main event fight on there. Also, on that card, it's actually going to be about 12 fights on that card, right? It's going to be a big pro box card. It's going to be about 12 fights on that card. We're actually about to get like we're actually about to get like a pay-per-view level card for free with Pro Box. And I say pay-per-view level, like Erickson Lubin, who's fought on pay-per-view, who's fought in big fights, who's main evented fights, who's headlining fights. He's fighting Andrea Holmes, two guys ranked in the top 10. You know what I mean? So we're about to get an extremely, by pay-per-view, I mean extremely high-level fight for the free. You know, extremely high-level fight for the free. Yeah, he is. Lubin versus Holmes. You know what I got? You know what I got on the thing? Lubin versus Holmes, Navarrette, and more. Yeah. Pro Box card. Lubin versus Holmes is the Pro Box card. Yeah, we about to talk about it. It's a few fights. It's a couple fights on that card I want to talk about. It's about 3 cards total. 3 cards total, if I'm not mistaken. Could be 4. Maybe 4 cards total. Maybe 4 cards total. Right. But we'll start with this Erickson Lubin, and we'll start with this Pro Box card, right? So I want to talk about maybe 3 fights off this card. We got Dominique Valle, right? He's going to be on the card. Dominique Valle, 10-0. He's fighting the guy 15-5, Brandon Valdez. That's going to be a pretty good fight as well, right? I'm going to take Dominique Valle in that fight, right? Najee Lopez. I'm telling y'all these quick hitters real quick, right? Najee Lopez is fighting Gerardo Osuna. I think that's gonna be a good fight as well. You know, I'm a Najee Lopez guy. I'm a Dominique Valle guy. These are guys from the Pro Box, you know, that's been consistent with Pro Box. That Pro Box has been pushing. These are some of the Pro Box fighters, you know, over the past years, like Roman Cardenas, right, who just fought Monster anyway. 9 times out of 10, Roman Cardenas would have been on this card, right, if he never had that Monster Inoue fight, right? You know what I mean? But these are going to be some of the best guys from you know, that signed with Pro Box. And you got Nicholas Fayez versus Alan Sanchez on there, right? That's gonna be a good fight. And then you got Erickson Lubin versus Andrea Holmes. Right. So we go take Dominique Valle for the win. We go take Najee Lopez for the win. Darrell Valcent is also on this card. Right. Valcent is also on this card. Darrell Valcent. He's fighting Rodolfo Orozco, right? 33-4, right? So gonna be some pretty good fights. But let's go ahead and get into this main event, man. We can start with the main event. We gonna break down this main event, and I got like a couple more fights I want to break down for y'all, and then we go line it up at the end of this thing on the parlay. But let me get y'all going. Let's go ahead and go to this box, Rick. Let's go Erickson Lubin. Let's go Erickson Lubin, man. We're going to talk about this fight in depth, the Lubin and Andrea fight. We're going to talk about the Lubin and Andrea fight in depth, right? Because that's the main thing. We're going to keep the main thing. Fuck on your bitch, I ain't throwing no shade up, but I'm going to type it just fucking inbounds. Doctor, nurses' faces, they got me telling all right, we got Erickson Lubin versus Andrea Holmes right now. These guys are both these guys are boxers, right? Andrea Holmes is not so much of the punching threat that Erickson Lubin is. Erickson Lubin, 26-2, 18 KOs, been stopped twice, 5'11", 74-inch arm reach. He's facing off against Andrea Holmes. Andrea Holmes is taller than Erickson Lubin, right? He's the taller guy between the two. Erickson Lubin would be the more sturdy guy. He's more so of the puncher than Andrea Holmes. Andrea Holmes, 6'2", 74.5-inch arm reach. Erickson Lubin is 5, right? So Andrea Holmes has the height on Erickson Lubin, but these are exactly the same. I think Erickson Lubin has a power edge in this fight with Andrea Holmes. Andrea Holmes' path to victory in this fight is actually going to be boxing, right? But I'm not sure, right? Your game plan, you want your game plan to have to be come in there and outbox Erickson Lubin. To outbox Erickson Lubin, that's a big task. And I don't think Andrea Holmes can stop Erickson Lubin. The only way that I see Andrea Holmes winning this fight will be to outbox Erickson Lubin. And I think that's a tall task because Andrea Holmes is a good boxer, a good goddamn boxer. This is Clarissa Shields' fighter too, if y'all wondering. This is one of Clarissa Shields' fighters, Andrea Holmes. He's a Satila promotion, Satila guy. He's a Clarissa Shields guy. He's a good goddamn boxer, but your only game plan being able to outbox Erickson Lubin, man, that is tough because Erickson Lubin ain't the guy that just goes in there and get outboxed. He just outboxed Jesus Ramos. He was actually up on the card versus Sebastian Fundora. Despite popular belief, he was actually up on that card. If the fight continued to go like it went, I think actually he might have stopped Sebastian Fundora. You know what I mean? But his corner ended up, throwing that talent. But he was up on the cards at that point, meaning that he was outboxing Sebastian Fundora, right? Up until, his corner decided to stop the fight. But I am going to go with Erickson Lubin in this fight. You know what I mean? Now, I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to take Lubin on the money line, right? But I wouldn't be surprised, right, if Erickson Lubin found a way to stop Andrea Holmes. Now, I don't want to see that, right? Because Holmes my guy too. But y'all know Erickson Lubin is literally one of my favorite fighters, has been one of my favorite fighters for a long time. Got a chance to meet Erickson Lubin in person a couple times. Enjoyed it, right? Cool. Actually, he not like I ain't gonna say he a cool dude, but Erickson Lubin one of them dudes like he's not friendly, right? I should say that he's not a friendly guy. You know what I mean? But he's friendly, right? But like if he don't know you, if you're not one of his people, if you're not within the circle, if you're not within the friend group that's going on, that's not a if he cool with you, right? Friendly guy, but his persona, his attitude, like he's real firm, you know what I mean? Erickson Lubin. Shout out Erickson Lubin. So I am a big fan of Erickson Lubin. I got Erickson Lubin winning this fight, man, and something tells me money line I think would be the safest bet. I do think Erickson Lubin win without a doubt, right? But something tells me, man, that Erickson Lubin is probably going to KO Andrea Holmes. I just don't see Andrea Holmes having enough power, right? I don't quite see him having enough power. You know what I mean? I think Erickson Lubin will be able to work on him over the course, of this 12-round fight. The safest bet, again, is Erickson Lubin on the money line, but I'm not lying to y'all. Depending on what the odds say, right, when the metrics drop for this fight, because the odds have dropped for this fight. Erickson Lubin is like minus 300 or something like that. The odds have dropped for this fight, right, but the method odds haven't dropped for this fight. So I don't know exactly what he would be on the method. I do know what I don't know exactly what he will be on the method, right? But I do know what the money line is. I'm about to get the money line for y'all right now. I think it's minus 300 for Erickson Lubin, right? But we going with Erickson Lubin on that money line right now, right? So minus 300, Erickson Lubin. No methods out for it yet. Erickson Lubin for the win on the line, right? Another fight I want to talk about in depth. We have Emmanuel Navarrette versus Charlie Suarez. Right? So we got Erickson Lubin on the money line. Possible knockout. Right? Let's go to Navarrete. Emmanuel Navarrete. Let's go to Navarrete. Navarrete fights this weekend as well. I think this is a title fight. New division title fight. Let's see. Navarrette is fighting Charlie Suarez. Charlie Suarez is 18. And so I think y'all know. About Navarrete, right? So let me tell y'all a little bit about Charlie Suarez real quick. First things first. First things first, right? This is a step up fight. First, right? This is a step up fight. You know what I mean? For Charlie Suarez. Huge step up fight for Charlie Suarez, right? 18-0, 10 KOs, 36 years old, 5'6" with a 74-inch arm reach, right? He just beat Jorge Castaneda, stopped Jorge Castaneda by knockout. He beat Luis Corey. No, you're not too familiar with him. He beat Johan Vasquez. Maybe you know him. He beat Paul Flemings, right? Took Paul Flemings, though, stopped him in the 12th, right? Not gonna go too much farther back, right? Because I know I start getting the names that most of y'all probably ain't never heard of. But Suarez is a guy. He can get knockouts, right? He can get knockouts. If he gets his knockouts, they're going to be later on in the fight. But I won't consider him a knockout kind of guy. Probably we could throw knockout out in this situation versus Emmanuel Navarrete. Now, skill for skill. I actually think Charlie is pretty good. You know what I mean? Skill for skill, Charlie is pretty good. A lot of the advantages that Emmanuel Navarrete would have in most fights, he's not necessarily going to have in this fight against Charlie, right? Both these guys are about, I actually think Navarrete is taller than Charlie. But Charlie has an arm reach advantage on Navarrete, right? So you got Charlie Suarez versus Navarrete. The best bet in this fight, I think, will be to take it to go the distance. I think without a shadow of a doubt, without a shout, right? However y'all say it, right? Without a shout of a doubt, I think this fight goes the distance. So that would be my, first play on it. My second play on this, I'm thinking Navarrete wins this fight, y'all, but I'm not overly sold on it. This is not he's 34 years old, is Charlie, right? He has the longer arm reach. I think he boxes just as good as Navarrete. Navarrete has shown that he could be outboxed. Not really sure, how much the distance in this fight is going to pay, but this fight is going the distance. And I'm actually tempted to take Charlie over Emmanuel Navarrete. Navarrete has fought the better guys, but I see something. We're going to take fight distance, right, as the first bit. But I do see things that I like. I see something that I like. You know what I mean? With Charlie. I'm tempted to take Charlie, man. I honestly am. Bet this fight to go the distance, right? Right. The bet is the fight to go distance, but actually, y'all, I'm gonna actually go with Charlie in this fight, bro, to upset Emmanuel Navarrete. Now, maybe Navarrete goes in here and maybe his pressure is too much for Charlie. Right? But the advantages that Navarrete would normally have in his fights, Navarrete is not going to have in this fight versus Charlie Suarez, right? Charlie Suarez is about his size, and he has longer arms, and that's generally the guys that give Navarrete problems, right? Guys about his size, he can't, just out-punch and overwhelm, and guys that could box. If y'all wondering, Charlie Suarez, Charlie Suarez, for what I'm saying, he's a DAZN guy. He's a DAZN guy. Right? This is going to be a step outbox. I think he could outbox Emmanuel Navarrete. I really do. He beat Paul Flemings, right? He's the only guy to beat Paul Fleming's. Right. Right. Navarrette. I think that fight is going to distance. I'm gonna actually take Suarez as the dog. You know what I mean? On if I think it's gonna be a boxing match, I don't think either guy is gonna knock the other guy. All of both these guys are capable of getting KOs. I don't think a KO comes, in this fight between the two. But we go take that fight to go the distance, man. Right? Right? Bet him on his own. He's at plus 360 right now, right? So understand that line is kind of telling you that Charlie actually does have a shot in this, right? If you're just looking at like, the money line, people telling you that Charlie has a shot. If this wasn't like a, if I hadn't seen Emmanuel Navarrete, get favorable decisions before, this is going to be an ESPN card. We know ESPN is pushing Navarrete through the moon, right? But I think the best fight would be to take that fight to go the distance, especially Navarrete being minus 500, right? So if you can get the distance for anything less than that, take that fight to go the distance. But I'm gonna go with Charlie Suarez. I think he go outbox Emmanuel Navarrete. I think he could possibly drop Emmanuel Navarrete as well, if I'm being perfectly honest. You know what I mean? I think he could drop him. All right, next fight on that card, we got Raymond Maratala versus Zaire Abdullaev. Zaire Abdullaev fought Devin Haney back in the day. I think that's his only loss, if I'm not mistaken. That's the guy that fought Devin Haney. Devin Haney is his only loss. Raymond Maratala, 22-0, 17 KOs, 28 years old, 5'8", with a 72-inch arm reach. He's facing off against Zaire Abdullaev. Zaire Abdullaev, 20-1, 12 KOs. Yep, this is the guy that Devin Haney knocked out. Yep, Devin Haney knocked Devin Haney knocked him out in 2019. Y'all know that Devin Haney knocked somebody out and somebody left. Y'all didn't like that shit. They didn't like that shit. Yeah, but Devin Haney did knock this dude out some years ago. Again, he's a completely different fighter now than he was when Devin Haney knocked him out. I will give him that. You know what I mean? I will give him that. He's a completely different fighter now. Right? So this is not an unfamiliar guy. He's fighting Raymond Maratala. Raymond Cheese Maratala, 31 years old, 5'9" in height. Maratala is 28, and I think Maratala is like 5'8", right? So heights are about the same. His reach isn't listed. Maratala's reach is listed at 72, right? But I think he's a little taller than Maratala, and I think he has a slight arm reach over Maratala, right? This is not a guy that's going to per se knock you out. Well, I don't think he's going to knock Cheese out, right? He's not going to knock Maratala out, right? He does have some knockouts in his recent fights, right? But not when he steps up in competition. He did knock out a guy 25-0, but who is the guy that's 25-0, right? But he's not really a guy who's just knockout dominant. I damn sure don't think that he's going to knock Raymond Maratala out. This is going to be a good fight, though. A lot of people probably won't recognize the name. You're going to recognize Cheese's name, right? You're going to recognize Raymond Maratala's name, right? But can y'all hear me? Okay. But yeah, you're going to recognize Cheese's name, right? Because y'all ain't saying, y'all be throwing me off. I know y'all be listening and shit. Y'all don't be dropping the comments. Y'all be seeing y'all in here just sitting down, looking at me. Y'all be throwing me off a little bit. I don't be knowing if y'all hear me or not. But yeah, he not going to knock out Cheese, right? But no, Cheese never been stopped. He been stopped once by Devin Haney like 6 years ago. I got Cheese to win this fight, but I do think this is going to be a tougher fight than people think. I think people are going to see this name. They're not going to recognize, and they're not going to give it a whole lot of respect. But this guy can fight. We all know Raymond Maratala can fight. I'm actually leaning Maratala by decision. You know what I mean? I'm thinking Maratala by decision, but Maratala is the guy that likes to press the action. I could see if he has his mind set on the KO, he could probably get a KO, right? I'm going to just take Maratala, on the line for this EP sake, right? But yeah, so Maratala should win for sure, and I'm thinking Maratala on the points, right? I think it's gonna be a boxing match. I think it's boxer versus boxer. I'm finna butcher his name. Abdullaev is a boxer, right? Maratala is a boxer. right? But for the most part, right? Even though Maritolo will knock your ass out, you know what I mean? But he is a boxer, right? That dude can box, as I learned. That one time he got dropped, he started boxing a little bit, came back. He boxed himself to a knockout instead of running through to get a knockout. I think Maritolo is going to box in this fight. Maybe he finds the knockout. I'm not overly sold that he finds the knockout, but I am sold that he wins. You know what I mean? Again, I'll let y'all know further down, down the line, whether I'm going to go Maritolo on the points or, Maritolo, with the KO. I am leaning points right now, right? I am leaning points, right now. So I am going to put, points. But Maritolo on the money line, I think will be the best bet, right? And I'm thinking that fight goes the distance. But, Maritolo, if Maritolo is able to land and he's not being answered back, then y'all know Cheese is going to get your ass up out of there, right? But I'm going to give Abdublev the benefit of the doubt, you know what I mean, right now. And I'm going to say Cheese wins this fight by decision, right? But the best bet is going to be the money line bet. Whatever play you see in the front is my best bet, right? You see Lubin money line, then Lubin KO. My best bet is Lubin money line. You see fight to go the distance, and you see Charez money line. My best bet is fight to go the distance. You see Maritolo money line, and then points. My best bet is Maritolo money line, right? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm leaning more so to, right now is what you see first, right? So we got Navarrette, Maritolo. We got Andre Cortez, and we got Salvador Jimenez. This is going to be a good-ass fight as well. Salvador Jimenez, 14-1, 6 KOs, 1 draw. His last fight was versus Ryan Gardner, in which he lost by decision. Shout out Ryan Gardner, right? He's fighting Andre Cortez. Andre Cortez is a guy that I have yet to bet against yet. Now, he did scare me in one of these fights. Let me see which one of these fights it was. He scared me a little bit. I took Abraham Nova, right? It was Abraham Nova. He just beat Abraham Nova. Scared me a little bit, right? But got the job done. He stopped Xavier Martinez. You know what I mean? He beat Luis Melendez, right? And I think I picked Melendez over him that day. You know what I mean? But I'm going with Andre Cortez in this fight, man. I think Cortez is just the better all-around, boxer at this point. Cortez may be one of those guys. He may be a champion, y'all. You know what I mean? This may be a champion in the future at the super featherweight division, right? I like Cortez. I think he's either going to be a champion or he's probably going to lose in the title fight to somebody we didn't expect to be a champion type deal, right? But I do think he's one of those kind of fighters where he is a fighter to be reckoned with, right? Salvador Jimenez, things are going to be an exciting fight. He's for sure going to come to fight, but I'm going to go Cortez in that fight. Cortez, I'm thinking Cortez on the money line more than likely, and I'm thinking it goes to a decision. Actually, right? Don't got odds for Cortez just yet, right? But I'm thinking Cortez wins that fight, and I'm thinking Cortez points. Right? So I think that's going to be a boxing match as well. They all boxing. When I say boxing match, I mean, like a tactical match. Not like, an Inoue type fight where, it's brawl, they get hit. When I say it's going to be a boxing match, I mean like a tactical match. Hit, not get hit. When I say it's going to be a fight, when I say it's going to be a doozy, that normally means I'm talking about a brawl. You know what I mean? That normally means I'm talking about a brawl. Right? I think that's going to be a nice little boxing match right there. We got Giovanni Santillan making his return, 33-1. He's taking on Angel Beltran Villa. Giovanni Santillan, this is his first fight back since losing the title to Brian Norman Jr. My bad. This is his first fight back since losing the title to Brian Norman Jr. So he's going to be looking to get on the right track. Is Santillan. Now, I don't necessarily think they're putting Santillan in this fight for him to lose. So I am going to take Santillan over Beltran. With the style of the fight, Beltran, is he active? Is he a live dog? I don't know if he's a live dog, but I will say he's an active dog, right? I'm going to take Santillan to win that fight. I don't think that fight is going the distance, though. You know what I mean? So my first base action would be fight, not distance. Right? And then I like Santillan, to win after that. I think he's going to He's going to want to bounce back. He's going to want to avenge that loss. He's going to bounce back, right? He's going to want to avenge that loss. I'm pretty sure Top Rank is going to want to get him right back in that mix as well, too. So we go take Santillan for the win, and what I think is going to be a brawl. Now, I think this right here is going to be a doozy. That Santillan fight. Let me hear you twist this shit. They say she love me, she lying to me. I bitch at the crib, I ain't say man no hoe. Remember? She got you fuck up the recipe. Family bitch, you go harassing me. Fuck good, she don't find the key. They say she love me, she lying to me. All right, my bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. My bad. But yeah, I guess you got to spell Santillan. It's a N-tillion. All right, my bad. Yeah, so we got Santillan as the second play, right? I think that fight is not going the distance, right? I think somebody gets stopped, right? That's just what happened when Santillan fights. Either, he tried to stop you or he gets stopped. Does have some fights to go the distance, right? But I'm going to say this fight not distance because he's fighting the guy with an aggressive style as well. And y'all don't know if y'all know, Polanco broke his hand the other day, right? If y'all have Polanco knockout, he said he broke his hand. You know what I mean? So, there's that if you had him. He said he broke his hand if he didn't get the knockout right. So I know some people probably, want to throw him away and shit. But he said he broke his hand, for those that care about that kind of stuff. Yeah, Polanco said he broke his hand during that fight. That's why he didn't step on the gas and go for that knockout, right? But next fight. I think that's all the fights on that card. Santillan, yeah, those are all the fights on that card. We got another card I want to talk about. So far we got 2 picks in here. We got Maritala and we got Erickson Lubin on the money line. Let's go to Lee Wood and Anthony Carsis. Anthony Carsis is the guy that beat what's his name? The white guy that Shakur was about to fight. He knocked him out. What's the white guy name Shakur was about to fight? Okay, let's go to it. Let's see. Lee Wood. I think they're feeding him Lee Wood though. He about to fight Lee Wood. What's his name? What's that guy? Cordina. Anthony Carcas is the guy that knocked out Joe Cordina, and now they're about to put him in the ring with Lee Wood. Lee Wood hadn't had a fight in 2 years, so either they think that Lee Wood is going to come back, from the depths and beat Carcass, or they're lining Carcass up to get that Lee Wood name on his resume, right, to be able to push him in the future. And I'm kind of leaning more so towards they're trying to build Carcass rather than rebuild Lee Wood. Fight style. Carcass don't get a whole lot of knockouts. You know what I mean? But I do think this is going to be a back and forth kind of fight where I think these guys are going to be willing to stand and trade. Lee Wood's last fight was a TKO victory over Josh Warrington. He basically retired. You know what I mean? After that, Josh Warrington, when he got his belt back, he basically retired. Right? He's fighting Anthony Carcass. Right? 36 years old. So both these guys are a bit older. Anthony has been way more active. He just beat Josh Warrington by decision. He stopped Joe Cordina in the fight before that. If Lee Wood was more active, I'd be inclined to take Lee Wood as the underdog. I want to so bad because I know Lee Wood is going to come and fight. Right? He's going to be game. Is he going to get himself stopped by Anthony? Anthony don't get a whole lot of stoppages. He stopped Joe Cordina. Thinking if Lee Wood is actually ready, man, if Lee Wood is in shape, if Lee Wood is on his game, bro, Lee Wood could pull off that upset. I just don't like that he's been gone so long. We do got methods for this fight, right? So the over and under is 10.5. Lee Wood decision is plus 400. Lee Wood knockouts plus 3. This fight not to go the distance is plus 120. This is going to be a good fight right here, man. I think Lee Wood likes to punch. I'm thinking, really, I'm trying to decide. I'm gonna go with Anthony. I'm gonna go with Anthony, right? I wasn't trying to decide like who I think is going to win. It's really the conditioning of Lee Wood. If Lee Wood was, if he was more active, I would take Lee Wood. I also don't think Lee Wood would be the underdog either if he was more active, right? So we probably wouldn't be getting Lee Wood at this value, right? Anthony is hot right now. The over and under in this fight is 10.5. Wish it was 8.5. This is one of those fights, right, that could go either way. So I'm gonna say take the over 10.5 in that fight, or we gonna take Lee Wood on the points, man. You know what I mean? So let's say over 10.5, right? Because I think if it goes over 10.5, then that probably means that Anthony is winning, right? And if it go anything under 10.5, that means Wood probably knocked him out. You know what I mean? So my first play in that, right, is that over 10.5. But I am going to lean towards Wood. Maybe it's a value play. You know what I mean? But I'm going to lean Wood in that fight just because I do think he has a lot of heart. But he is coming off that 2-year layoff. You know what I mean? But he's also fighting a guy that's 36. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's fighting a spring chicken. So that gives him a bit of a chance. I think he's about 36 too. You know what I mean? So he's fighting a guy around his age. But he is coming off a layoff. If Lee Wood had maybe one fight, but he's been out for 2 years, man. That's really, really giving me cause to pause. So I'm going to take over 10.5 because I don't think Anthony is going to knock him out. Although Lee Wood is one of those guys is he could press the action until you knock him out. You know what I mean? But I like the over in that fight. In the secondary, I like Lee Wood. You know what I mean? But the over is probably what I will be betting in that thing, right? Anthony 36. Let's see how old Lee Wood is. They don't have Lee Wood's age up here. Lee Wood went on a nice little run, bro. After he beat Lowry, beat Warren, then he just stopped fighting. 10. So 10. That is what? October of 2023. Almost 2 years, man. Lee Wood been off. Yeah, so we go take that over 10.5 because if Anthony wins, I don't think that he knocks Lee Wood out. And if Lee Wood wins, he probably is going to win by KO, but I think it'll be later rather than earlier after he works on Anthony a little bit. So the over 10.5 is the play in that Lee Wood for the win. So let me drop that. I can actually put that over 10.5 in here because they got odds on it, right? Liam Davis and Kurt Walker. I like Kurt Walker, man. I think Kurt Walker pretty good. I do probably going to outbox Kurt Walker, though. Right, let's go to the Liam Davis card. I'm not a fan of just betting on Liam Davis either, though, if I'm being real with you. Like, not a guy that I'm just, rushing to the book to bet. Right? Not a guy I'm just rushing to the book to bet, right? But Liam Davis should win this fight. I think he only got 16 fights, one loss. 8 stoppages, never been stopped. His one loss was in his last fight. I think it's by split decision to Shabazz Musa, who had me very, very, very scared. I took Musa fight, and Liam Davis gave him a hell of a fight. So I think that's why I'm siding with Liam Davis. In this corner, Walker is undefeated for the IBF International title. He only has 2 stoppages, right? So we know that a knockout is not coming over from Woodstock. I'm actually thinking maybe Liam Davis on points, right? But yeah, I'm thinking Davis on points, right? I don't think he'll knock out Walker. Right, so we'll go Davies on the line. I'm thinking Davies wins that on the points. Neither of these guys have a whole lot of power. Liam Davis has more power. I think Liam Davis has fought the better competition. He's more experienced. Going to be a big jump for Kurt. Right, and I think Kurt comes up a little short than what I think is going to be a 12-round boxing match, 10-round boxing match. Right. So I'm taking that thing. I'm taking Liam Davis, and I'm thinking that thing goes the distance. Right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Went through 7 fights so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Liam Davis. All right. It is something else. Is it one more? My savages. All right. So I got 4 fights in here for y'all. I got a plus 200 done for y'all. Let me drop this in here for y'all. Right. So this is my parlay right now. It may or maybe not change. May add some methods, right? But we're gonna take Lubin money line. We're gonna take Navarrette. Tyler, right on the money line. We're gonna take Liam Davies on the money line. Thing like that. And that's plus 100 right there. Davies, Navarrette, Lubin, Navarrette, Davies. Navarrette, Charlie, Anthony Wood. We go in Anthony Wood over. They don't have the prelim joints posted just yet. Let's see. Yeah, let's go over 10.5. Right, in Wood versus Caucus. C-A-C-A-C-E. C-A-C-A-C-E. Caucus. That's it, man. Real name. C-A-C-A-C-E. Over 10.5 Wood Caucus, right? That'll get us to plus 200. Right. So that's our parlay for right now. I'm gonna let this thing go an hour. We got 15 minutes. So anybody want to ask some questions? This is time to ask some questions. Anybody want to ask some questions? This is time to ask your question. I'm gonna let it go up into an hour. I'm gonna let it go up into an hour. So shit, y'all shoot it. Let me put my boy Lubin back up here. Smoke me a blunt with Erickson Lubin. Me and Lubin about to smoke us a blunt real quick. Again, this is an IBF title eliminator too. So Lubin is going to be fighting. I forgot her name. The dude that knocked out Tim Zoo. My savages, my savages, my savages. My savages, my savages, my savages. My savages, my savages, my savages. All right. Is the KO and TKO still? Whenever I say KO, it's the same bet. It's all the same bet. KO, TKO, disqualification. I'm just not gonna put all that shit in the chat. I never bet just KO. I never bet just TKO. I always take them, they're all together. When I say KO, I mean KO, TKO. But I'm not finna write that out. I'm not finna write all that shit out in the chat every time. But yeah, TKO, KO. You know, most people not betting direct exact results anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not talking about TKO. I mean, I'm not talking about just KO. Now they are the same. They are the same. They are the same. But you can bet it separate, but they are the same. I'm never gonna tell you to bet it separate. I'm never going to tell you to just bet a KO or just bet a TKO. I never tell you that. Too much risk. Too much risk involved. KO, TKO, DQ. It's all the same thing. It should be on the first screen. I'm never going to tell you to just bet a KO or just a TKO. I never seen you up the road like that. Nah, they got it the same. You got to go look for it differently. When you first see it on there, it should say KO, TKO. I use FanDuel too. You got to go look for it to be different. The one that I'm talking about is going to be right in front of you. The one I'm talking about is going to be right in front of you. You'll never have to go look. You'll never have to go look for nothing that I tell you on here. Unless I tell you that directly. You know what I mean? Go in your way 7 through 12. It's going to be right in front of you, though. You'll never have to go look for it. You got to go look for it to be different. You know what I mean? You will never have to go look for it. They're the same thing. It's gonna say up under. It's gonna say KO. Gonna say KO, TKO, disqualification. I never tell you to take a direct method, because if you get a disqualification, then you lose your bet. I never tell you to just take a TKO or just take a KO. I don't even think FanDuel got the methods out yet. Yeah, right. I never do that, Jacko. I never do that. I go KO, TKO, same thing. I just don't write it all the way out in the chat. Method of victory is gonna see it right there. KO, TKO. You know. Yeah, I have never made a bet where I split up my TKO and my KO. I have never made a bet where I split the two up. I will never set you up like that, my good brother. I would never set you up like that, my good brother. My savages, my savages, my savages. My savages, my savages, my savages. It hurt you the worst when your brother don't turn you up. Hurt you the worst because your brother don't turn you up. Nah, it's still the same, bro. It's still the same. I'm looking at it. It's the same. It's the same, bro. Navarrette, KO, TKO. I'm looking at it. It's the same. It's the same. You gotta go split it up. You gotta go split it up yourself if you want to split it up. Yeah, you gotta go split it up if you want to split up. I'm never gonna see you. I'm never gonna tell you that. Method of victory, KO, TKO. Yeah, because you gotta, if you go do it, you gotta make it different. You know what I mean? But it's never gonna be different on its own. You know what I mean? You'll have to go do some extra to take out your TKO option. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna tell you to take out that TKO option. You know what I mean? I never tell you that. I would never tell you to take that out. Yeah. I'm just not gonna write KO, TKO, DQ. You know what I mean? Because it take too long. My savages, my savage. Gotcha, Jacko. Gotcha. And again, I may end up taking the method or some on it. But I think this right here should. And actually, if you want my lock, actually, I give you a lock. Let me so y'all can know. This is the lock. Right? Lubin money line. Maritala money line. And Davies money line. That's plus 100. That's the lock. Cause I know some of y'all, that's my lock right there. And if you add the other one to it, it take you up plus 100. My savages, my savages, my savages, my savages, my savages. Come on. Come on. Come on. Wait. Wait. As I get bitches be doing the most. I run the trenches, I'm signing her throat. Skills was good to Lubin ring around 7. I like that because I probably am going to take Lubin KO. You know what I mean? As far as the method go. But today, right now, skills was good. If y'all want my lock, this my lock. This right here won't change. When I say lock, that won't change. My feelings about these three will not change. Now it's plus 100, right? So you got to bet a little money to really get you. But you know, them three, I feel like not go miss. Can't miss. Skills, what's goody, man? What's goody? Want to drop these fight picks on y'all. If they don't get they don't get like the undercards that I told y'all about earlier. They don't get those up here. Y'all want me to just drop like the other fights that I went through? Do y'all want me just to drop them who I think go win them jumps in here too? You know what I mean? I got 7 plays in there for y'all, right? 7 predictions in there for y'all. But there's other ones that I predicted by mouth that I didn't drop in there. Y'all want me to drop those winners in there too from the undercards and shit? But right now, I am leaning Emmanuel Navarrette to lose. Right now, I'm leaning Emmanuel Navarrette to lose. Maybe it may change later on in the week. So make sure you come on the actual fight day. You know, I'll be live way before the fight starts. You can come. You can recheck with me to make sure. You know what I mean? I suggest that you come back later in the week to see where I'm at with it. See if anything changed. Any weigh-in changed. Maybe somebody missed weight. Maybe somebody went to jail. You know what I mean? Or something like that. But I ain't gonna hold y'all in this thing too long, man. I'm gonna be back a little later. Skin the Hardaway Southern. See, this ain't the past. This ain't the future. This the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.